What is going on, everybody? It is Wednesday night. It is True Nation World History at True Nation. My name is Aman, and to my left,
Shahad Amath.
yes, sir, and we are getting into the book of Joshua, the conquest of Joshua, because if you didn't know, Joshua was a man of war, prophet. He did a lot. He did a lot, as we're going to see in this book, and even previously, throughout Deuteronomy when he was first elected right after Moses to do these things. So let's start this. Joshua 1:1.
Now after the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord came to pass, that the Lord spake unto Joshua, the son of Nun, Moses' minister, saying, Moses, my servant, is dead. Now therefore arise, go over this Jordan, thou and all this people, unto the land which I do give to them, even to the children of Israel.
So at this point in time, we're barely just about to officially get into the promised land that was promised to us since Abraham. And even more so, you got to understand, you got to pull up your atlases and your maps. So if you can do that while you're listening to me, or even if you want to do that after your lesson, flip through your Bible. Sometimes they have atlases in there, but you can look. You're in Israel, that you know of, and there's a river. This is the Jordan River. So now there's already a settlement on the eastern side. Two tribes, Manasseh and Reuben are already on the east side because they had asked Moses previously after a battle with some Moabites and some Amorites that they were like, you know what, we like this side. So we already have some of Israel settled there, but Moses charged them saying, look, when you guys officially go into the land past the Jordan River, y'all that are settling here, you must go and help your brethren in war and fight. So that was the deal. But read from verse 3 in that same chapter.
Joshua 1:3. Every place that the sole of your foot shall tread upon, that have I given unto you, as I said unto Moses. From the wilderness and this Lebanon, even unto the great river, the river Euphrates, and all the land of the Hittites, and unto the great sea towards the going down of the sun, shall be your coast.
So that was this portion that was explained about and talked about was a lot more than what would come to be known as Israel. So he said, I'm reminding you, because this is what I told Abraham, from the rivers of the Euphrates, which is way further east than where they're at right now, to the land of the Hittites, which is the land of Canaan. Like, all this is supposed to be yours, but you got to do what you got to do beyond this river first. So basically, the Most High is encouraging Joshua. The Most High is encouraging Joshua all throughout this first chapter. This is where you get the famous, be strong and of good courage. Don't forget these commandments. Don't forget the law. Make sure you charge the children of Israel with that. That way, everything you do will be prosperous and successful. Jump to verse 17 in that chapter.
This is Joshua chapter 1 and verse 17. According as we hearkened unto Moses in all things, so will we hearken unto thee. Only the Lord thy God be with thee as he was with Moses. Whosoever he be that doth rebel against thy commandment, and will not hearken unto thy word in all that thou commandest him, he shall be put to death. Only be strong and of a good courage.
So that's the agreement that the people make with the further going forwards of taking over the land of Canaan with the Canaanites and Hivites and all that. So one of the first conquests is going to deal with a particular kingdom within Canaan called Jericho. That was the great stronghold city. But before taking that over, you have the story that is taught many times over about a woman named Rahab, who's a native of that city. So we're going to jump around and understand, what she's about. So Joshua 2 and verse 1.
And Joshua the son of Nun sent out of Shittim 2 men to spy secretly, saying, Go view the land, even Jericho. And they went and came into an harlot's house named Rahab, and lodged there.
So Rahab the harlot of Jericho. That's who they're with, and they lodge there. And it only makes sense too because a harlot is going to take anybody in. But Jakes was not trying to do anything foul and wicked. They just wanted a place to stay. So they're like, hey, we just want a place to stay. And she's probably like, hey, if you got the money, let's do it. So read on.
Verse 2, and it was told to the king of Jericho, saying, Behold, there came men in hither tonight of the children of Israel to search out the country. And the king of Jericho sent unto Rahab, saying, Bring forth the men that are come to thee, which are entered into thine house, for they be come to search out all the country. And the woman took the 2 men and hid them, and said thus, There came men unto me, but I wist not whence they were.
So in the midst of all that, Jakes couldn't get away from staying in the city without being noticed. They probably stood out, and someone somewhere, some kid, some mom, some uncle said, hey, these look like strangers, foreigners. We got to let our city council know. So the city council finds out, and Rahab is, now caught up. But Rahab has some wisdom to her, and she's about to explain this to the children of Israel, because right now she just lied to her own people, saying that I don't know where they at. They was here, but they must have left already, even though she hid them in her own place. But this is the reason why that she hid them and lied to her own people. Jump to verse 9.
Verse 9, and she said unto the men, I know that the Lord hath given you the land, and that your terror is fallen upon us, and that all the inhabitants of the land faint because of you. For we have heard how the Lord dried up the water of the Red Sea for you, even Salakia, when ye came out of Egypt, and what ye did unto the 2 kings of the Amorites that were on the other side Jordan, Sihon and Og, whom ye utterly destroyed.
So Rahab is not the only one that is aware of the children of Israel. The whole city of Jericho, matter of fact, all the land of Canaan, the whole known world actually at that time, from Babylon to Canaan, they know of the works of Yahweh, because it's not like Yahweh wasn't known amongst these nations. They just decided to worship other gods. But now Yahweh is starting to show his power through his chosen people, Israel, and now Israel and Yahweh is starting to become famous in the region. So Rahab is aware of that, but it's a famous warning, basically. So she took the warning and be like, oh, no, these people are going to, destroy everything that they come through. So I want to safeguard myself. So that's what she did. She safeguards herself, knowing that her people and her land is going to get destroyed, just like all the other lands of the people that got destroyed that came and encountered the children of Israel. This was news that was spreading around often in this time, during the Exodus, during the book of Numbers, Leviticus, all the way up to Joshua right now. So Israel has been known for books upon books amongst these other nations. You can read from verse 11.
So Joshua 2 and verse 11. And as soon as we had heard these things, our hearts did melt. Neither did there remain any more courage in any man because of you. For the Lord your God, he is God in heaven above and in earth beneath.
So in her admitting that, Rahab of another nation, she basically submits to Israel, and Israel, the spies make a oath with her, being like, okay, we respect your humility and what you did for us. You hid us, you didn't turn us in, so this is what we're going to do for you. You need to follow these specific steps and stipulations so that when we bring our army, Israel, to your land, you're going to have a mark or a sign upon your household to where none of us are going to touch your house. Your house is going to be safeguarded and safe when we take over this land. That was the deal. That was the oath that was made between the spies of Israel and Rahab the harlot. And she agreed gladly, and she let the spies go. What do you call that? The Canaanites, who's on a wild goose chase, while Israel, the spies, got back to their own encampment. So with that, you can jump down to verse 20 and 2.
This is Joshua chapter 2 and verse 20. And if thou utter this our business, then we will be quit of thine oath which thou hast made us to swear. And she said, according unto your words, so be it. And she sent them away, and they departed. And she bound the scarlet line in the window. And they went and came unto the mountain, abode there 3 days until the pursuers were returned. And the pursuers sought them throughout all the way, but found them not.
Read verse 23.
So the two men returned and descended from the mountain and passed over and came to Joshua the son of Nun and told him all things that befell them. And they said unto Joshua, truly the Lord hath delivered into our hands all the land, for even all the inhabitants of the country do faint because of us.
So again, the fame, the fear of Israel and the Most High God Yahweh is upon the land. And that fear wasn't obviously good enough for the peoples of the land to want to think to surrender. And that gets talked about later on too. But let's get into chapter 3. So now this is the actual plan, the plan to take over this city of Jericho. Most Christians, most Bible studiers know about it has become a story, the walls of Jericho, the great walls of Jericho. When you actually look this up archaeology-wise, because they do have pictures and excavation sites, these walls are gigantic. They're huge. They're pretty big. You know, they were built in a time before the actual Canaanites even dwelled there. You know, pre-flood. You know, and that's getting into a whole nother lesson itself. But these walls would eventually fall down by a particular way. So Joshua chapter 3, and you can go to verse 7.
This is Joshua chapter 3 and 7. And the Lord said unto Joshua, this day will I begin to magnify thee in the sight of all Israel, that they may know that as I was with Moses, so I will be with thee.
So it's important for this particular event to happen, which is supernatural, so that that supernatural-esque can be imparted upon Joshua. Because, you know, the children of Israel like to be hard-headed and don't like to have leaders unless it's like a great sign that, like, oh my God, I could never imagine to do that in my strength in my own hand. That's why the Most High said, I'm gonna magnify you before the children of Israel, so they know for sure to listen to you all the time, which is what we're gonna see with the walls of Jericho. Go to verse 11.
Verse 11, behold, the ark of the covenant of the Lord of all the earth passeth over before you unto Jordan. Now therefore take ye 12 men out of the tribes of Israel, out of every tribe a man. And it shall come to pass, as soon as the sole of the feet of the priests that bear the ark of the Lord of all the earth, shall rest in the waters of Jordan, that the waters of Jordan shall be cut from the waters that come down from above, and they shall stand up an heap. And it came to pass, when the people were moved from their tents, to pass over Jordan, and the priests bearing the ark of the covenant before the people. And as they that bear the ark were come unto Jordan, and the feet of the priests that bear the ark were dipped in the brim of the water, for Jordan overfloweth all his banks all the time of harvest. Mm-hmm. That the waters which came down from above stood and rose up an heap very far from the city Adam, that is beside Zeratan, and those that came down toward the sea of the plain, even the salt sea, failed and were cut off, and the people passed right against Jericho.
So this is, again, a step process to get into Jericho. So the Most High is now sending or allowing a miracle to happen by drying up the river Jordan so that all the tribes will pass over dry land. So that's what happens right here when it says that and those that came down, it's talking about the waters, those that came down towards the sea of the plain, even the salt sea, failed and were cut off. And it also says that the waters which came down from above stood and rose up upon a heap very far off from the city Adam. So again, these are just no different than the parting of the Red Sea. This has now become a wall of water, you know, a flat wall of water that you could stick your hand in that's just stuck there so that it wouldn't be wet for the children of Israel. This is one of the many things that magnifies Joshua amongst the children of Israel. So they pass over, and now, as even a more witness, they're instructed 12 members of each of the tribes to gather 12 stones. And as soon as they all pass over, they're going to lay up those 12 stones as a witness to be like, yeah, the children of Israel walked over this river because the Most High dried it up, or rather cut it off, and we walked on dry land. So you have multiple witness accounts, so people that maybe don't believe in a generation to pass, like, nah, look at these rocks. This is proof that this happened. And these stories that we're telling you are not lies. That's how the Most High works, through archaeology and signs, even for us this day. So that's basically what happens all in chapter 4. So you guys can read that on your own. Chapter 5, I'll probably pick and choose, but chapter 5, basically, we're in the encampment, and the Most High instructs Joshua to circumcise the children of Israel. Because, if you want to read chapter 5 and verse 4.
This is Joshua chapter 5 and verse 4. And this is the cause why Joshua did circumcise all the people that came out of Egypt that were males, even all the men of war, died in the wilderness by the way, after they came out of Egypt. Now all the people that came out were circumcised, but all the people that were born in the wilderness by the way, as they came forth out of Egypt, them they had not circumcised.
Con, now jump to verse 9.
Verse 9, and the Lord said unto Joshua, this day have I rolled away the reproach of Egypt from you, wherefore the name of the place is called Gilgal unto this day.
Con, and jump to verse 11.
And they did eat of the old corn of the land on the morrow after the Passover, unleavened cakes and parched corn in the selfsame day.
Con, so just before entering Jericho, the Passover came up. It was the 14th day of the first month. They got circumcised so they can even keep Passover correctly. And that was the last time, this very moment was the last time that manna was falling from heaven for the children of Israel to make bread. This was the last day because they were officially in the land, and from then they would begin to eat the fruits of the land. So that was the last time manna was ever dropped for the children of Israel, according to history. Read verse 12.
And the manna ceased on the morrow after they had eaten of the old corn of the land. Neither had the children of Israel manna any more, but they did eat of the fruit of the land of Canaan that year.
Con. So at this point in time now, it's about time to get in Jericho. So Joshua runs into a captain of the host of the Lord, of the Most High God, an angel, and this angel now begins to instruct Joshua about how he's going to miraculously take down Jericho throughout chapter 6. So chapter 6 and verse 1.
Now Jericho was straitly shut up because of the children of Israel. None went out and none came in.
Con, because they were scared. They were scared, so they're like, nah, we're not letting them come in here. These walls are too big. These walls are too fortified. They can't get in here. These walls is, you gotta check the archaeological finds of these ruins of Jericho. They're humongous. So you would think that no ordinary man could get in this place. That's true, but the Most High is not a man, and he's definitely not ordinary. Read on.
Verse 3, and ye shall compass. Verse 2. And the Lord said unto Joshua, see, I have given unto thine hand Jericho, and the king thereof, and the mighty men of valor. And ye shall compass the city, all ye men of war, and go round about the city once. Thus shalt thou do 6 days. And 7 priests shall bear before the ark 7 trumpets of ram's horns. And the 7th day ye shall compass the city 7 times, and the priests shall blow with the trumpets. And it shall come to pass that when they make a long blast with the ram's horn, and when ye hear the sound of the trumpet, all the people shall shout with a great shout. And the wall of the city shall fall down flat, and the people shall ascend up, every man straight before him.
So that's, in brief, that's the instructions. The priests with the arks are going to circle around the city once for 6 days, and on the very 7th day, 7 times, blow the trumpet, shout of the people, the whole children of Israel, walls is going to fall down. Go inside, slay them up. That's the instructions of how to go about doing it. So as the Bible is, it's going to reinforce that these instructions were followed. So we're going to jump. We're going to jump a little bit further down to verse 17. So after these instructions are followed, when the city becomes miraculized or a curse, this is the next instruction.
This is Joshua chapter 6 and verse 17. And the city shall be accursed, even it, and all that are therein to the Lord. Only Rahab the harlot shall live, she and all that are with her in the house, because she hid the messengers that we sent.
Mm-hmm.
And ye, in any wise, keep yourselves from the accursed thing, lest ye make yourselves accursed, when ye take of the accursed thing, and make the camp of Israel a curse, and trouble it. But all the silver and the gold and vessels of brass and iron are consecrated unto the Lord. They shall come into the treasury of the Lord.
So this is the stipulation. Because of this miracle that's being done, and because of the nature of the people that were in this city, the Most High says to them, look, everything in there except for the gold, the silver, and the iron and the brass, the silver, the gold, the brass, and the iron, all those precious metals, that's for the Most High. So those are going to be taken not for yourselves, but for the Most High. But everything else in that city, I don't care what it is, from the flock to the kids to a clothing rack to clothing, all that is a curse. The Most High said this. This miracle that we're doing, the people in nature there, we don't want nothing in there. Just got to burn all of it, because it's just unrighteous. The Most High said we don't want nothing to deal with, none of the items of the city. No spoils for you. That was the rule. So jump down to 21.
Joshua chapter 6 and verse 21. And they utterly destroyed all that was in the city, both man and woman, young and old, and ox and sheep and ass with the edge of the sword. But Joshua had said unto two men that had spied out the country, go into the harlot's house and bring out thence the woman and all that she hath, as ye swear unto her. And the young men that were spies went in and brought out Rahab, and her father and her mother and her brethren and all that she had, and they brought out all her kindred, and left them without the camp of Israel. And they burnt the city with fire, and all that was therein, only the silver and the gold and the vessels of brass and of iron they put in the treasury of the house of the Lord.
So that was how it went down, save Rahab that, had an oath put upon her. Verse 26.
And Joshua adjured them at that time, saying, cursed be the man before the Lord that riseth up and buildeth this city Jericho. He shall lay the foundation thereof in his firstborn, and in his youngest son shall he set up the gates of it. So the Lord was with Joshua, and his fame was noised throughout all the country.
So that was another rule too. Don't build up Jericho until a specific time. So it wasn't like this generation basically could not. You couldn't do that. So that was a rule. Chapter 7, we see what happens when you actually disobey the instructions that the Most High God gives you in doing the things that He instructs you to do. So this chapter is all about a man named Achan. This man named Achan happened to take from Jericho a garment, literally a piece of clothing. Whatever that clothing was, the only description was that it was a Babylonish garment. So the fact that it's Babylonish, more than likely it was something that was dedicated to, another god, other gods, something that wasn't Israelite custom for sure. So amongst that, and then the instruction that everything in the city is cursed, this man decided to take that for himself anyway. You can read 7 and 1.
But the children of Israel committed a trespass in the accursed thing, For Achan, the son of Carmi, the son of Zabdi, the son of Zerah, of the tribe of Judah, took of the accursed thing, and the anger of the Lord was kindled against the children of Israel. And Joshua sent men from Jericho to Ai, which is beside Bethaven, on the east side of Bethel, and spake unto them, saying, Go up and view the country. And the men went up and viewed Ai.
Okay, so now go to verse 16.
So Joshua rose up early in the morning and brought in Salakia. So Joshua rose up early in the morning and brought Israel by their tribes, and the tribe of Judah was taken. And he brought the family of Judah, and he took the family of the Zarhites, and he brought the family of the Zarhites man by man. And Zabdi was taken, and he brought his household man by man. And Achan, the son of Carmi, the son of Zabdi, the son of Zerah, of the tribe of Judah, was taken. And Joshua said unto Achan, My son, give, I pray thee, glory to the Lord God of Israel, and make confession unto him, and tell me now what thou hast done. Hide it not from me. And Achan answered Joshua and said, Indeed, I have sinned against the Lord God of Israel, and thus have I done. When I was among the spoils, a goodly Babylonish garment, and 200 shekels of silver, and a wedge of gold of 50 shekels weight. Then I coveted them, and took them, and behold, they are hid in the earth in the midst of my tent, and the silver under it.
Man, so on top of all that, with the accursed thing, the things that were specifically supposed to be dedicated to the Most High, which was the precious metals, he also kept some of that too. So that is more of the reason why the judgment stood as the judgment stood what would happen to Achan and his whole family, because he basically stole at that point from the house of the Most High and disobeyed his word and his commandment.
I want to get something real quick, right? Because I was thinking about this when we read it earlier.
Yeah.
Chapter 1 and verse 18, whosoever he beeth that doth rebel against thy commandment, and will not hearken unto the words in all that thou commandest him, he shall be put to death. Only be strong and of a good courage, right? So any misstep, any sin, any unwillingness to follow direction and keep the commandment is death. There were no exceptions. There were no passes. Like, you had to obey accordingly, completely, all the time, right? And here we're about to see where someone didn't keep the commandments, someone who disobeyed, and not only they, but their whole family was put to death. That's how important keeping this word is. Think about that. The next time that you're looking for a pass, the next time that you misstep, and you're looking for forgiveness, you're looking for a break, you're looking to be given a second chance, right? And thank the Most High that He's given you that opportunity, and get right. That's all that.
All that in Christ. You know, this new covenant that we're in is definitely grace. You know, it's definitely grace and favor. But again, all these things with the sins, if not immediate death like Achan, things do stack up for the last final judgment day. But the mercy is, although you have on the scale and balance, you know, the bad stuff stacking up, you can actually now amend, repent, and blot those sins out through your works in the faith currently. So that's the amazing glory that Christ has given to us in these days. But back then, this is how it was. It was a little more stern and strict because Israel was hard-headed, more so. Bam. Go to verse 25.
This is Joshua
7 and 25.
7 and verse 25. And Joshua said, Why hast thou troubled us? The Lord shall trouble thee this day. And all Israel stoned him with the stones and buried them with fire.
Burned them.
Salakia, and burned them with fire, after they had stoned them with stones. And they raised over him a great heap of stones unto this day. So the Lord turned from the fierceness of his anger, wherefore the name of that place was called the Valley of Achor unto this day.
Khan, as a remembrance to make sure that we following the Most High's commandments, statutes, laws to the T. So further on, chapter 8 is another conquest. You know, Jericho's done, but there's more cities to take over than Jericho. So in this particular battle, the Most High is calling the shots of how to go about the military campaign. But for the most part, in this battle against the inhabitants of Ai, the Most High is using the sword of the children of Israel. And again, the Most High has so many weapons of arsenal to use when fulfilling his war wills, whether it's the children of Israel themselves or the elements abroad, to the spiritual world, you know, affecting your dreams and dying in your sleep and all that. The Most High has a whole arsenal. He has it all. Chapter 8 and verse 3.
So Joshua arose and all the people of war to go up against Ai. And Joshua chose out 30,000 mighty men of valor and sent them away by night.
30,000 men of valor, 30,000 men that at that point in time had to be in the tip-top military form, all the latest and greatest, bells and whistles. So that's what they had. Read verse 9.
Joshua chapter 8 and verse 9. Joshua therefore sent them forth, and they went to lie in ambush and abode between Bethel and Ai on the west side of Ai. But Joshua lodged that night among the people.
So the instruction of the Most High and from the angel of the Most High was, look, take your 30,000 people, but divide them up. You're going to have a certain amount of people, the majority, or at least half, that are going to come up to Ai to actually, traditional battle, battleground, I see you see me, what's up? But then you're also going to take, the other third half, and they're going to be liars in wait, or they're going to ambush. So this is the first instance, old ancient aspect of military tactics being done, where you have an ambush. You have people set off to the side that are not in view, and they're going to come up on the side flanks, left flank, right flank, and finish the job, with the people of Ai. That was the instruction by the angel of the Most High. Jump down to verse 14.
And it came to pass, when the king of Ai saw it, that they hasted and rose up early, and the men of the city went out against Israel to battle, he and all his people, at a time appointed before the plain. But he wist not that there were liars in ambush against him behind the city.
Such a new thing. Like, who battles like this? The Most High battled like that. Read on.
Verse 15, and Joshua and all Israel made as if they were beaten before them, and fled by the way of the wilderness. And all the people that were in Ai were called together to pursue after them. And they pursued after Joshua, and were drawn away from the city. And there was not a man left in Ai or Bethel that went not out after Israel. And they left the city open and pursued after Israel.
Now jump down to verse
19. And the ambush arose quickly out of their place, and they ran as soon as he had stretched out his hand, and they entered into the city and took it, and hastened and set the city on fire. And when the men of Ai looked behind them, they saw, and behold, the smoke of the city ascended up into heaven, and they had no power to flee this way or that way, that the people that fled to the wilderness turned back upon the pursuers. And when Joshua and all Israel saw that the ambush had taken the city, and that the smoke of the city ascended. Then they turned again and slew the men of Ai.
So they just destroyed their whole morale. They got them thinking, we on the battlefield about to duke it out, man to man. But now you got your whole city behind you on fire. You're like, what? Our people, da-da-da? So they're all messed up in the mind. And, the morale is broken. And Israel is now in to finish the job. Verse 24. Actually, 23 first.
This is Joshua 8, verse 23. And the king of Ai they took alive and brought him to Joshua. And when it came to pass, when Israel had made an end of slaying all the inhabitants of Ai in the field, in the wilderness wherein they chased them, and where they were all fallen on the edge of the sword until they were consumed, that all the Israelites returned unto Ai and smote it with the edge of the sword.
So that was what happened. And then Israel even took this city wasn't a curse like Jericho. So in this instance, Israel could take the spoil. So the spoils were taken from this city, and, another one bites the dust, another city taken over as the conquest of Canaan continues. Chapter 9. Chapter 9, you can read verse 1.
This is Joshua chapter 9 and verse 1. And it came to pass when all the kings which were on this side Jordan, in the hills and in the valleys and in the coasts of the great sea over against Lebanon, the Hittite and the Amorite, the Canaanite and the Perizzite, the Hivite and the Jebusite, heard thereof, that they gathered themselves together to fight with Joshua and with Israel with one accord. And when the inhabitants of Gibeon heard what Joshua had done unto Jericho and to Ai, they did work wily, and went and made as if they had been ambassadors, and took old sacks upon their asses, and wine bottles old, and rent and bound up, and old shoes, and clouded upon their feet, and old garments upon them, and all the bread of their provision was dry and moldy.
So what you got going on right here is another city or city-state kingdom close by called Gibeah. They're aware of everything that's just happened, west of the Jordan River. Two major kingdoms got destroyed, Jericho and Ai. So now Gibeah is like, you know what? We're going to operate like Rahab. We're going to operate like Rahab, a whole city of people. They're going to pretend that they're not from the land of Canaan. They're going to pretend that we come from somewhere way far off. We're not even Canaanites. We're going to disguise ourselves, change our whole, appearance and look, and then beg that the children of Israel, don't do anything to us, that we're their servants. And Israel believes it. They're like, oh, okay, yeah, you're not inhabitants of the land. That's cool. So jump down to verse 6.
And they went to Joshua unto the camp at Gilgal, and said unto him and to the men of Israel, We be come from a far country. Now therefore make ye a league with us.
Yeah, because we're not Canaanites. We're other people, and we'll help y'all. So read on.
And the men of Israel said unto the Hivites, Peradventure ye dwell among us, and how shall we make a league with you? And they said unto Joshua, We are thy servants. And Joshua said unto them, Who are ye, and from whence come ye? And they said unto him, From a very far country thy servants are come, because of the name of the Lord thy God. For we have heard the fame of him, and all that he did in Egypt, and all that he did to the two kings of the Amorites that were beyond Jordan, to Sihon, king of Heshbon, and to Og, king of Bashan, which was at Ashtaroth.
You can read verse 14. So basically the children of Israel are listening to the story, they're buying it, and they're like, okay, well, you guys must not be from the land. You're from far off. That's cool. The Most High said to kill all the inhabitants of the land. If y'all not from here and y'all want to serve the Most High God as our servants, that's cool. You can do that. Verse 14.
And the men took off their victuals and asked not counsel at the mouth of the Lord. And Joshua made peace with them, and made a league with them, and let them live. And the prince And the princes of the congregation swear unto them.
Con. So Israel just believed what these heathens said to them. They didn't ask the Most High. The Most High didn't tell them anything because they already made an oath. And oaths are pretty strong standing with the Most High. Read verse 16.
And it came to pass at the end of the 3 days after they had made a league with them, that they heard that they were their neighbors, and that they dwelt among them. And the children of Israel journeyed and came unto their cities on the 3rd day. Now their cities were Gibeon, and Chephirath, and Beeroth, and Kirjath-jearim. And the children of Israel smote them not, because the princes of the congregation had sworn unto them by the Lord God of Israel. And all the congregation murmured against the princes.
Con. Read verse 21.
And the princes said unto them, Let them live, but let them be hewers of wood and jars of water unto all the congregation, as the princes had promised them.
Con. So this is the beginning. This is the beginning of the reason why all the land could not be conquered. You know, from the Euphrates to the Red Sea. To the Mediterranean Sea, because of little acts of this where the heathen got the best over us, either through oaths, either through feeling sorry. You know, this is a common theme that you're going to read out through the book of Joshua, that not all the inhabitants of the land were put out like the Most High said. And this is one example, just through an oath too. But so in order to keep that, us being men of our words, like, okay, so we made the oath. You guys are going to be servants, but this is going to be your duty and task. Y'all going to be hewers of wood and drawers of water for the temple of the Most High God, since y'all want to serve the Most High so bad. So that was their job. So they got to basically stay within their cities as vassals or servants to Israel. Chapter 10, verse 1.
This is Joshua chapter 10 and verse 1. Now it came to pass when Adonizedek, king of Jerusalem, had heard how Joshua had taken Ai and had utterly destroyed it, as he had done to Jericho and her king, so he had done to Ai and her king, and how the inhabitants of Gibeon had made peace with them, with Israel, and were among them.
Khan. So this particular king, Adonizedek, he's the king of what we know as Jerusalem at this time, and he's he's hard-headed, and he's mad that the inhabitants of Gibeon made a league with the children of Israel, and how he's trying to gather a whole bunch of other city-states to go to war with the children of Israel. So this is a little bit different. This war that's going to happen is multiple, city-state kingdoms with way more people than the children of Israel. So the Most High has to fight a little bit different than than the first fight that he made with AI. It's less against more at this point. Read verse 3.
Wherefore Adonizedek, king of Jerusalem, sent unto Hoam, king of Hebron, and unto Piram, king of Jarmuth, and unto Japhiah, king of Lachish, and unto Deber, king of Eglon, saying, Come up unto me, and help me, that we may smite Gibeon, for it hath made peace with Joshua and with the children of Israel.
Khan, go to verse 8.
And the Lord said unto Joshua, Fear them not, for I have delivered them into thine hand. There shall not a man of them stand before thee. Joshua therefore came unto them suddenly, and went up from Gilgal all night. And the Lord discomforted them before Israel, and slew them a great slaughter at Gibeon, and chased them along the way that goeth up to Bethhoron, and smote them to make Azekah, and unto Mekedah.
Okay, so just slow it down real quick. So what's happening right now, the Most High is telling Joshua, look, don't fear them. They're a great multitude, sure, but I got you. So the Most High, you might gloss over it, but the Most High at this point is actually fighting them. It's not the children of Israel and the army at this point. The Most High begins fighting them himself. And again, I told you, there's a scripture in the book of Psalms that the Most High has a number of ways. He could send lions and tigers and bears against you. Again, he could send fire against you. He can open up the earth. The Most High has a number of ways to actually commit his wars other than using the children of Israel. So that's the beginning of what's happening right now. Read verse 11.
And it came to pass, as they fled from before Israel, and were in the going down to Beth-horon, that the Lord cast down great stones from heaven upon them unto Azekah, and they died. They were more which died with hailstones than they whom the children of Israel slew with the sword.
Period. You know, just on general period, because again, the Most High's got to cut down the field for the children of Israel. There's too many of them, so the Most High's got to intervene. On top of, we get this, the whole sun, the cosmos staying in place just for the children of Israel to finish the job. You can read on.
Verse 12. Then spake Joshua to the Lord in the day when the Lord delivered upon the Amorites before the children of Israel. And he said in the sight of Israel, Sun, stand thou still upon Gibeon, and thou moon in the valley of Ajalon. And the sun stood still, and the moon stayed, until the people had avenged themselves upon their enemies. Is not this written in the book of Jasher? So the sun stood still in the midst of heaven, and hasted not to go down about a whole day.
And that was again for the children of Israel to finish the job, to go find out the stragglers, because again, the commandment was don't leave none of these inhabitants of Canaan alive. Destroy them, get rid of all of them. You got to kill them. So the Most High did the bulk of the work. Israel's just getting the strays at this point. You know, the Most High's like, handle that your business yourself. And he had the sun stand still to do that. So anybody, again, keep your faith in the Most High. If whatever seems too big for you, whatever you got, even financially, when stuff hits the fan, just trust that the Most High in some form or fashion got your back. You might not know how, but, again, there's a billion other ways for these other nations to get done in, and then for us to come in with whatever else we have, whether you got a pocket knife or, a 9mm, don't trip. Don't trip. The Most High has got you. Prepare a little bit, though. Go to verse 24. So, again, now all these kings are about to be gathered pretty much, the kings of these cities, and this is where, on social media, you see people stepping on the face of Christ, of white Jesus. This is where they get this from.
This is Joshua chapter 10 and verse 24. And it came to pass when they brought out those kings unto Joshua, that Joshua called for all the men of Israel, and said unto the captains of the men of war, which went with him, Come near, put your feet upon the necks of these kings. And they came near, and put their feet upon the necks of them. And Joshua said unto them, Fear not, nor be dismayed. Be strong and of good courage. For thus shall the Lord do to all your enemies against whom ye fight.
Putting them under your foot, that's the power. Israel's the head, they're below the tail, they're under the feet on the ground, and that's what he was trying to instill into the children of Israel, and trusting in the Most High. And then they died. Verse 26.
And afterward Joshua smote them and slew them, and hanged them on 5 trees, and they were hanged upon the trees until the evening. And it came to pass at the time of the going down of the sun that Joshua commanded, and they took them down off the trees and cast them into the cave wherein they had been hid, and laid great stones in the cave's mouth, which remain until this very day.
So that's a law too, no cursed person. Anybody that's hung on a tree is a curse. So that person, after a day's time, has to be put away, or else that curse is going to, infect the land. So that's what they did there. So from 26 to basically 38, it talks about more kings and more cities that Israel had to go fight against. So this conquest just keeps happening. Israel fights against Makeda, the king of Makeda, the king of Libnah, the king of Lachish, the king of Gezer, the king of Eglon, the king of Hebron. All these kings get taken out throughout the rest of this chapter in 10. So y'all can definitely read that if you want to know the minor details with that too. Let's see. We got the same thing going on in chapter 11 too, the king of Hazor. So it's the same situation. Joshua's conquesting and taking over these kingdoms by the sword. So let's go to verse 18, Joshua 11 and 18.
Joshua made war a long time with all those kings. There was not a city that made peace with the children of Israel, save the Hivites and other inhabitants of Gibeon. All there they took in battle. For it was of the Lord to harden their hearts, that they should come against Israel in battle, that he might destroy them utterly, and that they might have no favor, but that he might destroy them, as the Lord commanded Moses.
So for whatever reasons and everything like that, the Most High is like, look, we got to get rid of all these inhabitants of this land. They're not suited and fitted to serve in a holy land with the children of Israel. Read verse 21.
And at the time came Joshua and cut off the Anakims from the mountains of Hebron, from Debir, from Anab, and from all the mountains of Judah, and from all the mountains of Israel. Joshua destroyed them utterly with the cities. There was none of the Anakims left in the land of the children of Israel. Only in Gaza, in Gath, and in Ashdod there remained.
And that scripture actually segues into the reason why in time to come David will fight against Goliath, because Goliath was a descendant of the Anakim, and all the Anakims were, as far as giants is concerned in the Bible, these are just men that somehow there was multiple tribes of these giant men that were like 7 to 9 feet tall, even possibly 10 feet tall, that all lived together, and they had a specific, basically they had like their own specific dwelling because they stood out from the rest of the inhabitants. So these were regular people, other than the fact that they were way more gigantic in stature, and I'm pretty sure being warriors, that's their lifestyle. They were feared amongst the inhabitants of the land, and even at one point in time, the children of Israel. But it's important because even them, the Most High got rid of. Giant, 7 foot tall, 8 foot tall, 9 foot tall, talking about an army or a village of like basketball players, basically, That's what the Most High got rid of, and eventually what David would have to fight in Goliath. Chapter 12. Chapter 12 and verse 7.
This is Joshua chapter 12 and verse 7. And these are the kings of the country which Joshua and the children of Israel smote on this side of Jordan on the west, from Baal-Gad in the valley of Lebanon, even unto the Mount Halak that goeth up to Seir, which Joshua gave unto the tribes of Israel for a possession according to their divisions, in the mountains, and in the valleys, and in the plains, and in the springs, and in the wildernesses, and in the south country, the Hittites, the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites.
So it's just a big recap pretty much at this point of basically recapping what just happened in the book of Joshua. So it's going to give you from verse 9 to the end of this chapter, it's going to give you a list of all the kings that eventually Joshua had to go through. So we basically highlighted with the chapters before about 3 or 4. This is like a list of at least 10, 12, 15 other kingdoms and kings that Joshua took over in the land of Canaan. So it just lets you know, same pattern. Fight, the Most High fight, take over. And then from there, basically, And the rest of these chapters, the land can now be distributed. The land can now be distributed to, the primary people first, like Joshua, Caleb. They're going to get their land inheritance for the righteous things they did, throughout the books of Deuteronomy, throughout the books of Numbers. And then the rest of the children of Israel that are not Reuben and Manasseh, they're going to get their land inheritance at this point too on the west of the Jordan River. So that's what we see in chapter 13, chapter 14, chapter 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, even 20. 20 goes into specifically how the Levites would be distributed amongst all the children of Israel, and how they would basically be dwelling in suburbs or outer, city limits within each of the 12 tribes. And it's crazy because within the tribe of Levi is divided into four families. And I can actually tell you the name of those families right now. So 4 families within the tribe of Levi that got distributed within the 12 tribes. 3, 6, 9, 12. That means within the 4 families, each tribe gets a third of that family to make up the 12 tribes. If I could find it right now, I'll tell you the names of those families too. Oh, go to Joshua 21, and you can start at verse 3.
This is Joshua 21 and verse 3. And the children of Israel gave unto the Levites out of their inheritance at the commandment of the Lord these cities and their suburbs. And the lot came out for the families of the Kohathites and the children of Aaron, the priests.
So that's, my bad. So that's one family, the Kohathites. That's one family of the tribe of Levi. Read on.
And the children of Aaron, the priests, which were of Levites, had by lot out of the tribe of Joshua, and out of the tribe of Simeon, and out of the tribe of Benjamin, 13 cities.
So the Kohathites are divided up into Judah, Benjamin, and Simeon. The next family.
And the rest of the children of Kohath had by lot out of the families of the tribe of Ephraim, and out of the tribe of Dan, and out of half the tribe of Manasseh, 10 cities.
So my bad. So Kohath actually gets 6 tribes. They're divided into 6 tribes: Judah, Benjamin, Simeon, as well as Ephraim, Dan, and Manasseh. The next family.
And the children of Gershon had by lot out of the families of the tribes of Issachar, and the tribe of Asher, and out of the tribe of Naphtali, and out of the tribe of Manasseh in Bashan, 13 cities.
So the third family. So, excuse me, I said there was 4 families within the Levites. It's 3. It's Kohath, Gershom, and Merari. So now Gershom gets divided up into 3 tribes, which is Issachar, Asher, and Naphtali. And the last, or the third family within the Levites, verse 7.
And the children of Merari by their families had out of the tribe of Reuben, and out of the tribe of Gad, and out of the tribe of Zebulun, 12 cities. And the children of Israel gave by lot unto the Levites these cities with their suburbs, as the Lord commanded by the hand of Moses.
So again, these remaining 4, 5, 8 chapters is just how the land gets divided. I'm not going to read all that because there's no point, because you need an atlas. And I need an atlas to actually visually understand what I'm reading with that too. So if you don't know these cities, if you don't know east, south, northwest, it's a little tedious to read, but just know that this is how the original land was divided between the tribes in these 5, 6 chapters. Let's go to chapter 22. Yeah, let's go to chapter 22 and verse 10. So remember, at this point, Reuben and Manasseh, they had land already that they've been situated on the east of the Jordan River. Everything west of that was what we just read about with Rahab and Jericho and all that, and they had to help. They had to help with these wars. But now that the wars are done, Manasseh and Reuben can go back to their side of the Jordan River, and this is what they do. Joshua 22 and 10.
And when they came unto the borders of Jordan that are in the land of Canaan, the children of Reuben and the children of Gad and half the tribe of Manasseh built there an altar by Jordan, a great altar to see to.
So they're building an altar like in the pattern of an altar that was already on west of the Jordan River. So this from the outside looking in, the other tribes, they start to think this is kind of funny. They start to think, oh no, they're about to start worshiping another god. They're building an altar for sacrifices. Y'all are supposed to come over here to make the sacrifices. What are y'all doing? So, read from verse 15.
So Joshua 22 and verse 15. And they came unto the children of Reuben and to the children of Gad and to the half the tribe of Manasseh unto the land of Gilead. And they spake with them, saying, Thus saith the whole congregation of the Lord, what trespass is this that ye have committed against the Lord of Israel, the God of Israel, to turn away this day from following the Lord, in that ye have builded you an altar, that ye might rebel this day against the Lord? Is the iniquity of Peror too little for us, from which we are not cleansed unto this day? Although there was a plague in the congregation of the Lord, but that ye must turn away this day from following the Lord? And it will be, seeing ye rebelled today against the Lord, that tomorrow he will be wroth with the whole congregation of Israel.
So Israel's basically making a whole long speech and spiel about like, man, what are y'all doing? Y'all messing up. You know, our people been messed up in the 40 years in the wilderness with Balaam, Peor, Akan, and look at y'all. What are y'all doing? Like, y'all stupid. Y'all stupid for doing this, and we about to punish you and kill y'all for this. But now this is a response. You know, after an even exchange, this is the rest of that exchange. Verse 21.
Then the children of Reuben and the children of Gad and half the tribe of Manasseh answered and said unto the heads of the thousands of Israel, The Lord God of gods, the Lord God of gods, he knoweth, and Israel he shall know, if it be in rebellion or if in transgression against the Lord, save us not this day.
God knows my heart, but y'all about to know our heart too. Read on.
That we have built us an altar to turn from following the Lord, or if to offer thereon burnt offerings or meat offering, or if to offer peace offerings thereon, let the Lord himself require it.
If the things you're saying to us is true, then slay us and kill us. But this is what we're doing. Read from verse 26.
Therefore we said, let us not prepare to build this an altar, not for burnt offering, nor for sacrifice, but that it may be a witness between us and you and our generations after us, that we might do the service of the Lord before him with our burnt offerings, and with our sacrifices, and with our peace offerings, that your children may not say to our children in time to come, ye have no part in the Lord.
So they understood that, and thinking forwardly and ahead that, look, this river of Jordan and generations to come to pass, their children might not think that our children are the same people, and they're going to probably start beefing with each other because we on different sides of the fence. You know, I'm not going to get into like the politics of how our people operate like that, but it's just like we have neighborhoods with blacks and Latinos, Native Americans today, Israelites, that go off on each other just because they don't be in the same perimeter. So you can only imagine how it was with us in a military might back then, what they were thinking that the generations, the kids that come to pass might think about each other, you know. So they were just thinking ahead, and building an altar would be a sign that their kids will recognize our kids as being the same people. We worship the same God. We're not different, you know. We're not Moabites. We're not Midianites. We're Israelites, and we're doing the same things that y'all doing. So it was forward thinking. Verse 29 and 30.
God forbid that we should rebel against the Lord and turn this day from following the Lord to build an altar for burnt offerings, for meat offerings, or for sacrifices beside the altar of the Lord our God that is before his tabernacle. And when Phinehas the priest and the princes of the congregation and the heads of the thousands of Israel which were with him heard the words that the children of Reuben and the children of Gad and the children of Manasseh spake, it pleased them.
So it pleased them. So their wrath was abated. It went away. They're like, okay, that's cool. You guys can do that. It's a memorial. There's nothing wrong with you having a memorial. So as we go forward, that's pretty much the end of the settling of the land. Joshua is now going to continue to encourage, just like in chapter 1, he's doing the same thing in chapter 23, the last chapter of this book. He's encouraging Israel to be like, look, stand strong. These other nations are not good for us, you know. They're going to be snares and thorns in our eyes. They're not good for us. Leave them alone. And if you do want to serve another God, then you know what? Make that known and go do what you got to do and get away from us. Go live amongst them. We don't even want to take the time of the day to even put you to death like that. Choose who you're going to serve this day. Joshua 24 and verse 13 and onward.
This is Joshua chapter 24 and verse 13. And I have given you a land for which ye did not labor, and cities which ye built not, and ye dwell in them. Of the vineyards and olive yards which ye planted not do ye eat. Now therefore fear the Lord, and serve him in sincerity and in truth, and put away the gods which your fathers served on the other side of the flood, and in Egypt, and serve ye the Lord. And if it seem evil unto you to serve the Lord, choose you this day whom ye will serve, whether the gods which your fathers served that were on the other side of the flood, or the gods of the Amorites, in whose land ye dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. And the people answered and said, God forbid that we should forsake the Lord to serve other gods.
And that's basically how that chapter ends. And funny enough, this leads into the book of Judges. So you know that was BS for the most part. You know that was BS. But Joshua was solid, but the rest of Israel just kept getting distracted by the lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, and the pride of life. And that is a lesson that you can check out from a previous week in the book of Judges. But I'm going to say and cut it, that's it tonight for the book of Joshua, the conquest of Joshua. I hope that everything made sense. Definitely go back and read it for yourself, because a lot of details that I did not go into because they just weren't necessary for this platform to teach. But definitely read it on your own, because you will get better, smarter, and more tuned in with the Most High. Do you have anything you want to say?
No, I don't.
Well, with that, y'all, we want to say shalom, good night, safe travels, eat good.
Shalom.
Shalom.
It's meant, y'all.